Hi there, Capricorn. Welcome to your May 2020 General Tarot reading. It's Raina here. Two tens. Is there a Leo in your life, my friends? And there's that Hermit that I keep getting over and over and over, which makes a lot of sense when you're in certain situations. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. So the heart of the matter is the Ten of Wands. This is a card of maybe working extra hard or carrying some sort of burden that perhaps is not yours to carry. And the number 10 is a number of completion. We even have this in the past position, the Ten of Swords, where you're like, okay, that's it, that's the last straw. Somebody has, done this to me, screwed me over one time too many. And that the Ten of Swords is a card of betrayal. But to me, it can be the sign of an upswing. If you've been dealing with somebody over and over again, and finally you just wash your hands of that person because you realize that they're not going to change. And actually I was trying to think if this could be a work, because since this card is about work, usually it's like working very hard, and wands can be career related. Trying to remember what your sixth house is, and that would be Gemini. So there are, we have a new moon in this house in May, and planets in this house. Oh, Venus retrograde in this house. So your values going inward about what it is, like, is it worth the money, for instance, whatever it is that you're dealing with. The Ten of Swords can be a coworker, or maybe it's a group of coworkers who have screwed you over. If it's a lover, partner, maybe it's a Libra, because Libra is the air sign that you might find yourself drawn to, being a cardinal sign and liking that kind of take charge persona, that kind of a doer that cardinal signs tend to be. Whatever this situation is, it's probably has come to a head, and you're able to maybe finally wash your hands of it. The higher message, the spiritual message, is the Queen of Swords. So head over heart, not allowing your emotions to be in the forefront, and perhaps in the past you were. Like, for instance, if this is a personal relationship, you may be taking on the responsibility of somebody who is being unfaithful to you. Maybe you're paying all the bills. Maybe you're, whatever, the only one working. Well, that's paying all the bills, duh. But I mean, on their end of things, they may not be respecting all that you're doing for them. And this is not something that I think is unusual. I think this happens a lot. When you're doing for another person what they should be doing for themselves, and, barring any, legitimate crisis situation where it's something that came out of nowhere that nobody is responsible for personally, and those things do happen. But I'm talking about if you reflect upon the situation where you're just like working your butt off and you're helping somebody, maybe it's even a sibling, you're helping somebody and they're not lifting a finger for themselves, they're not grateful to you, they're just kind of taking and you're giving, and the imbalance creates that kind of a burnout situation, even in the workplace. Working, trying to help the company, the business, and not having anything to really show for it except a lot of stress. Maybe even being screwed over in the process. What crosses you is the Eight of Wands, and perhaps you've been looking for other work, and because of current events or other, I would say that would be number one, but maybe other things with timing with you, that it just hasn't happened. But what I want to tell you with this Eight of Wands is that once it is the right time, you may find that the change comes fast and furious. That's how I see with the Eight of Wands. Now, you are having a lunar eclipse in your sign on July 5th. So whether or not that has any connection to this, I don't know, but that could indicate, massive change within your own life, and then that could impact many different areas. So just keep that in mind, that, because we're already in May, practically in May. So 2 months from now, we'll get here before you know it, and you may find that a lot is changing. And it's changing rapidly. It's not something you have to just incrementally deal with. What's coming in, or advice, is a Strength card, so hang in there. Also, strength-wise, this card connects with Leo, and the fire element with the wands. Leo is a fire sign, so maybe there's a Leo in your future. And maybe this is somebody who you meet at work. The Ten of Swords being that this is the aftermath of some other failed relationship. Maybe this person really does have your best interests at heart and helps you to feel more confident. Also, because that's what this card really can represent, is confidence. And if you're somebody who has had some kind of a situation that the Ten of Swords represents, you may have lost your confidence. You may have lost your mojo and are feeling very, maybe you had felt as though you didn't, like it was your fault that something bad happened. And, but to tell you the truth, that might be more of the Three of Swords. I think with the Ten of Swords, there is this acute feeling of betrayal, where the person knows that they got screwed over, and it hurts because they had trust in, they put their trust in somebody who let them down. And of course, we know that this happens. And the whole moral of the story is that even in those moments where there is a lot of disappointment in another person or a group of people's behavior, you can still, be like the Strength card. You cannot allow their negativity to really affect you. You can kind of stay above the fray, and you can also keep doing what you're doing. In other words, some people, they might take betrayal as the excuse to seek revenge or to badmouth people and try to, let the world know how horrible they are. And the more that you can just be the bigger person, that really shows, that's to me the ultimate sign of strength. And then the outcome is a card of, wisdom, the Hermit. But also, it's almost like something that has happened has caused you to be, has prompted you or forced you to look within. And, this is something that I think is pretty commonplace, that people have negative experiences, and the very fact that they have these experiences allows them to be much more introspective. Because when everything is going great and you're on top of the world, obviously you don't have to deal with those kinds of issues. You can kind of like be quite in your sphere, so to speak, which, by the way, you ruled the 10th house of career, so this tends to be very important to you. And by the way, now that I think about it, I'm recording this in the last week of April, and there was a full moon in Libra on April 7th, and that was in your career sector. So perhaps some kind of situation went down that is connected to your career, and you had to face some unpleasant truths, or something became quite clear to you, and that has led you to feel this sense of betrayal. Maybe like you've been working your butt off and then find out that somebody who hasn't makes more money than you, and you're like, what the actual F is going on here? And it's like these things, and when that happens, people can feel like a fool, like, what was I doing? And yes, it is tempting to just feel like you're going to mail it in, or you're going to somehow seek revenge. But sometimes the best revenge is a life well lived. And also the best revenge is not having bitterness, because you're happy, no matter what. And, everyone has to live with the consequences of their actions after all. So in any case, Capricorn, I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, the link is below. A lot of my readings are astrology based, using your natal chart. I also do the tarot, but I am primarily an astrologer. Take care. Bye.